In this video, we are going to try to come up with a concept for a project. The project is basically going to be, well, let's make a new module and let's figure it out. So basically, we want a project. And what's a project going to be? First of all, let's use it, put it in here. We have this idea of a uniform control. Maybe we need to make that public too. First of all, the project is going to be like a shader file, which is just a path, a regular path. Then it's going to be, let's say, control layout, which is basically a vector of these uniform controls. Now we don't have that, so I think we have to say use create and what's the values of what? A slice of a path. Not sure what's going on here. The trait size is not implemented for this side of values. Okay, so actually we cannot use this. That's interesting. Could it just be like OS path? It doesn't exist. OS string. Okay, whatever. I guess we can use a string. Not sure I like that. This one returns a path buffer. Maybe that's what we want. Non-mutable path akin to string. Okay, so I think that's what we want. That should work. And basically we want to be able to save this and load it from a file. And loading it will kind of have to instantiate some uniform controls and load a shader and so on. And yeah, so let's try that. So let's implement it. And we'll want a couple of functions. We'll want like, let's say toString. So it's going to be the representation that we save. Maybe it doesn't have to be public. And we'll have another one from string, which takes, I don't know, let's call it just as string, and it returns this. And we'll also put it to do here. And then we'll have some public functions that are like save. We're going to save to some project file, which is again going to be this like path. Maybe we can do it now. And probably it can potentially fail, so we can put a result there. And this still, it doesn't like this. Okay, so let's just do a path buffer again. And can I do like a reference? Actually, let's do it like this. And then we can say where P is this thing. And we need to put that here then. Okay, so we can save it, and we should also be able to load it. Do the same trick, I suppose. Project file. It can potentially fail. So let's do it like that. And of course, we need this P is potentially a path. What to do? All right. So we can We can start by trying to implement a little bit, or we can start with some tests. Let's start actually with just implementing. Okay, so we can load this this project file. And I think if you look at this one, it's doing the same kind of thing. Well, it has, yeah, so P as ref path. So it's actually the same as what we're doing here. And it can be a string or it can be an error. So we can say maybe map error, and we'll make some string, would not load file, this thing, project file. And then we unwrap it. Now we have the contents. Can we just say std display? No. This one takes ownership. Okay, great. So now we finally have the file contents. Then we should say we can make a project by doing project from string file contents, and then simply return that project. So that would be that. And to save is actually kind of similar. So let's say project string is going to be self to string. And then I suppose there must be like a write function. Write a slice as the entire contents of a file. So what does this take? It takes a path and contents. Great. So we can say the project file and the project string. That has to be, the contents has to be a bytes. So maybe that's not what we want. Maybe it should be string. There's no string. Let's just try this. And can this fail? It can fail. So we can say map error. Don't actually care what the error is. We're just gonna say saving failed for project file, this project file. And we unwrap it. And we again, let's just require that it implements display to make it easy on ourselves. And here we just take the reference. Okay, so here we have written and it's presumably been successful, so we can end up returning okay. So the logic is probably here. It's pretty simple, it's probably correct. And it's going to be all dependent on the implementation of these two functions being correct. So maybe let's make, I think it's like that. I can never remember exactly. Let's make some tests. So we can use everything here, and then we can say test from, say to from string. So basically we want to convert a project to a string and back, and verify that everything is the same. So let's start by making a project. It's a project. We need shader file. It's a path buffer. So maybe we can create it like this. Maybe from string test. Can we just do that? And then control layout. How about empty layout? Try one with the empty layout first. That's okay, and then we have project string, project to string, and then we have project to. It's going to be project from string, project string, and then we can assert that project dot shader file is equal to project2.shaderfile. And we can also assert that project2.control layout so of course this can fail. No, that cannot fail, so that's fine. But for some reason it's not really. Okay, whatever, control layout dot length is 0. So let's now try to run the tests. And it failed. Failed with not yet implemented. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. I just forgot that we didn't implement anything. Okay, to string. So basically, how about we try to do something like this? Can we do a multi-line string? Let's try it. So we need the shader file, and then we need something here, and we want like layout string is going to be self.control layout. Actually, let's say we map these control layout to string. So we need a function like that. It has to be public to string self string to do like that. Accidentally reverted some stuff here, so okay, so we map them to string, and then we collect, and then we join. Is there a join? Never remember. Okay, so iter. Let me just get rid of that for now. So what is this thing? It is unknown. So let's collect here a vector of strings. So now it should be known. Then can we join? We can join, and we're going to join by new lines. Maybe that's fine, I think. So now it should be a string. And then we can go ahead and say layout string. And shader file is self.shader file. Okay, so maybe we cannot do that. We're gonna make a new line here. Okay, and it doesn't implement display, so how are we gonna get it? So shader file string, so shader file to string. We have something else like bytes path buffer. path buffer. There's no bytes. ToString lossy. Is there from? There's no from string. So what we're gonna do for now is invalid. Well, let's say non UTF-8 OS string. Just gonna unwrap it. Our string. They're never used, they say, but that's fine. I think I'm going to actually just allow update code for now because it's just the S string. And then we should actually do the same over here. S string. All right, great. So how are we going to do this one? Let's say parts is S split on new line. And then the shader file string should be next. And I think this is optional, so we're just going to unwrap it. And this has to be mutable. And then we have a bunch of parts now. So let's say while let some part equal parts next. We are going to get the layout. So we're gonna say let's say okay, so control is going to be uniform control string, this one. This should be a string. And then we're gonna say layout push the control. And finally, we're going to just return the shader file. Well, sorry, the shader file is going to be path buff from shader file string. We have the shader file, and then we have the control layout. All right. So we don't have a from string yet, but let's go ahead and add that. Because we will need it. And actually we need it now. Let's go back here. From string should be like that. All right. Okay, fair enough. Part and pass. Get that stuff. Great. So now when we run the tests, they should fail for inside the uniform control. That's exactly what's happening. So we're going to implement these things. All right, so let's format. So we want name, maybe a new line, maybe a comma. Actually, let's just do comma, then the uniform type, the minimum value, the maximum value, and that's it. So self.name self.uType as string, self.minimum value, self.maximum value, self.value. Should do it. Now we need to implement yet another as string, so uniform type. So this is just going to match itself, and if we have a float, we just return float to string, and if we have a int, we'll just return int string. And basically it's the same here, except we say we match the s, and if we have a float, then we return a float. We have an int, and we return an int, and anything else we're going to panic, invalid string, whatever that was. All right, so that should do it for that. And now from string, we should say parts is s split on comma, and then the name is going to be parts next unwrap, right? And that's now a string, so we have to like take ownership. Then the uType, that's going to be parts next unwrap, and then uniform type from string, like that. The minimum value is, does this one have a pass, or how do we pass things? Is it the string pass? Sure, there's some kind of passing, but I don't remember where it is. Anyways, parts next unwrap. Maybe it's here. Yeah, now we can pass. And then unwrap. We do that a couple of times. Max value. And then we just return this thing. Self. All right. Great stuff. So let's now run the test. Still failed. Called unwrap on a none. So that's annoying. That is annoying. So I think it's here. From string. So we want to filter maybe on parts that have a length greater than 0. Okay, it doesn't like that. That's fine. Let cargo run. Okay, cargo test. Great. So we can get an empty layout and get it. We can start from empty layout and convert it to a string and get it back. Let's actually see if that string is correct. So maybe expected would be something like test. don't need, it's a Python thing now. Remember it now. And I think it's like that actually. So let's say assert equal project string and expected. So they are not equal because there's a little bit too many spaces. Actually, I want too many new lines as well, so let's try it like that. All right. So now let's try to actually have some kind of thing in there. So no more empty. And let's say we have layout. It's going to be a vector of things. It's going to be uniform control. And it's going to have a name, which is like u1, string, uniform type. So can we actually say use create uniform type? So uniform type float, why not? Minimum value 0, max value 1, and value half. Let's actually just have 1, why not? So we need to say u type, u1 type. Great, and then we just convert it to string and back, and it should be the same. Let's test that. Failed because we don't want it to be 0, we want it to be 1. And then we can assert also that project 2 control layout 0 is equal to layout 0. I don't think they implement. Oh, why does it want debug? Okay, whatever. But they also don't implement equal. So let's actually just derive debug and partial eq. And that one already had it. Okay, great. And here we can just clone it. Except that we have to say this is clonable. Okay. Great. So we can do that. Let's do something similar where we actually test that the string is correct. And let's actually do one before we do that with multiple. So we need another here, which will be 2, and it will be -1, and this will be something like that. Doesn't really matter. And now we want there to be 2, and this one is oil. All right. Okay, so we can even do it for multiple. But now let's check that the string is correct. It's probably the final test we will write. So we have the string, and then let's say expected is test, and then it's a new line with, it's going to say u1 load 0, 1, 0, 5, and then there should be an empty, a new line at the end, nothing in it. String is this. And it failed because we have too many spaces. Still failed. Okay, that's fair, I guess. Actually, let's do -1 to see what happens. -1. And there's no new line. Okay. All right. So we got that. Now we have to hook it up inside here. We need like a button to save and some code to load a project file. But I think we'll do that in the next video. So until then, bye bye.